A dream vacation takes a horrible twist for two city women. Superior North EMS looking for changes to improve efficiency. And some bad news in the latest national employment numbers. Good evening and thank you for being with us. It started as a relaxing Caribbean vacation, but for two Thunder Bay women, their dream trip to the Dominican Republic quickly turned into a nightmare that nearly cost them their lives.
The pair alleged they were sexually assaulted by employees at the Bahia Principe San Juan resort. And when they reported the incident, they also say they were shot at and nearly killed. Ryan Benazzo spoke to the women who have asked not to be identified publicly.
They look like pictures pulled straight out of a travel magazine. But for two Thunder Bay women, the beautifully staged photographs hide the terrifying truth. It all began just over a week ago when they arrived at the Bahia Principe San Juan on January 1st. They met a bartender named Eddie. He seemed friendly enough, but the women repeatedly declined his request to show them around town, having already been warned of the dangers of leaving the resort.
Because we heard if you leave the resort, then that's when you can get into trouble.
Unfortunately, their trouble was only just beginning, and it was about to play out right in their hotel room. The afternoon of January 3rd, one of the women, we'll call her Jane, was showering before dinner when the other woman, who we'll refer to as Sarah, heard a knock at the door. It was Eddie, along with another staff member, and they quickly turned violent. The men pushed their way in. They dragged Jane out of the shower and threw her onto the bed. Eddie then grabbed Sarah and forced her into the bathroom.
And I could hear her screaming, like, no, no, get off me, no, get off me. So then I started running to the balcony, and it was still daylight. People were, like, outside walking to dinner, and then they kind of, like, everyone was kind of, like, looking up, and I was screaming, and I guess, like, it scared those guys or whatever, and they were, like, they booked it out of our room. They started running out of our room.
The women were scared to report the incident, but some other guests the pair had befriended on the trip convinced them to tell security.
I don't know if they didn't understand us or what. They didn't take us seriously.
Eventually, hotel management did listen to the women's story. Eddie was fired, but not the second man, whom the women could not identify. Jane and Sarah spent the next few days with some new friends they'd met, and all seemed well, until after the friends had gone home and they were left alone once again. In the middle of the night, they heard their door open. Fortunately, they had locked it using the security chain.
And they're banging at the door, banging at the door.
You could see their hands, like, opening the lock, like.
And when the women retreated to their second-story balcony, the situation grew even more dire.
And there was a security guard just pacing underneath our balcony. And he looked up and he went into his pocket, and I saw him go like this. And I saw a gun, and then we just grabbed each other and, like, went to the very back of the balcony and just hit the floor. And then, like, seconds later, we heard 3 really loud gunshots. And then all the patio doors just shattered on top of us. And
like, honestly thought we were gonna die.
Once again, the attackers were scared off. According to the pair, not only did resort staff refuse to call police, they refused to let the women use the hotel phone to contact the authorities on their own. Eventually, though, police were notified, but little was done to try to find the men responsible. Now, finally back home, they hope others will heed their warning.
Don't go there.
Don't go. I wouldn't go to Dominican, anywhere in Dominican.
I know there are flights leaving there, like, in the next few days. I've heard of, like, a bunch of people going to that exact same resort. And, like,
now the pair are just trying to put the painful ordeal behind them. They feel extremely fortunate to be alive. They know others may not be so lucky. Ryan Benazzo, TBT News.
Efforts to contact management at the Bahia Principe San Juan resort were unsuccessful. The local RCMP says they've been made aware of the situation and are waiting to speak to the women themselves.
In other news, the chief of Superior North EMS is looking to bring ambulance dispatching in-house, moving it from the province to here in Thunder Bay. Norm Gale says that would eliminate some operational barriers and make local operations run smoother. This coming Monday, Gale will bring a request to City Council to have them ask the province to transfer operational control of dispatching to the district EMS. He says having calls processed locally would aid in the deployment of paramedics and ambulances and increase the flow of information through their local headquarters.
What we're seeking is a solution similar to that achieved in cities such as Ottawa, Toronto, and Niagara region, wherein the operational control of the dispatch center would be transferred to the City of Thunder Bay, which would reduce or frankly eliminate operational barriers and allow us to investigate different triage tools.
Gale says under the current system, people calling for help will still receive a quick response from EMS paramedics, but he says having dispatch done here would increase the efficiency with which they operate.
The owner of the Royal Arms Cafe on May Street is calling it quits after almost 25 years in business there. She's blaming the closure on her problems with intoxicated people, along with the lack of upkeep of the Royal Edward building by the District Social Services Board. Mike Albanese has the story.
Wanda Kersleek has been cooking for customers at Royal Arms Cafe for years now and says it keeps getting harder. Kersleek says one reason for the difficulty is a lack of heat in the building. The city recently replaced the heater, but Kersleek isn't satisfied. And she also says the window seals are the problem.
Well, I can't imagine that a building can fall apart like this and nobody saw it. You have how many councillors that sit on this board? You have City Hall over there. They're the ones who own the building. The taxpayers of Thunder Bay own this building.
Not only is the heat a problem, but so are some of the unwelcomed residents. Kersleek says there is always fighting in the halls, and the blood on her door is a prime example. People also sleep in front of the bathrooms just outside the cafe, stopping access to simple amenities.
I can't get to the door. There was one morning here, I was here, and I couldn't go to the washroom, and neither could my customers, because we didn't have a man here. We were just women at that point. We had to wait till a man came, and then they booted them out of there.
The District Social Services Board, which operates the Royal Edward Arms, has tried to respond by adding a security detail to do frequent checks, and they even gave city police a key to the building for easier call response.
Last year we did contract, starting in the spring, with a security company to do patrols through the building throughout the evening and morning hours, early morning hours, and that's actually helped in that they've been able to remove a number of individuals from the building that they've encountered.
The issue with the heater may not be so black and white either. Bradicka says that he has witnessed some simple things that could change to increase the heater's efficiency.
The issue might be in terms of the heat that in that entrance vestibule area that the inner door is often left open, and that would contribute to, especially when it's that cold, the cold air coming into the restaurant.
Whatever issues still remain aren't the business of Kersleek anymore, as she has officially announced that she is relinquishing her release and closing the cafe as of January 31st. Mike Albanese, TBT News.
Increasing the amount of local food on your dinner table was the goal of a funding announcement made today. The Greenbelt Fund is supporting 3 local projects that aim to do just that. And as Dennis Ward reports, more local products will also make their way to other markets.
There is an increased interest in purchasing and eating local food, but there are some hurdles, especially in a region as small as northwestern Ontario. Proving it's actually a local product is also key, particularly when dealing with meat. LA Quality Foods owner Louis Alves received $45,000 from the Greenbelt Fund to track individual cuts of meat from their originating farm. He says local food has become big business.
In the last 5 months, we've sold over $750,000 in local products. And it's, like I said, there's a lot of interest. We're expecting a lot of growth this year. A lot of farmers are really willing to come on board.
The City of Thunder Bay is a major purchaser of food for long-term care homes and daycares. $80,000 will help the municipality partner with other public institutions to search out more local products.
Our goal is 10%, and we're well on our way to achieving that goal at the moment. So really what I think we want to do is just maximize it to the fullest extent as possible. Where we can increase local food production, that would be a wonderful thing, but we certainly want to make sure that to the fullest extent that it makes sense, that people locally are eating local food.
A lot of area producers are small or medium-sized operations, so partnering together is a must. Blues Farms received $85,000 for a packaging and storage facility that will act as a food hub for local growers.
So it allows people to order from multiple different farms all at one time, and then we collate all that food together, and then it gets delivered to the customer in one delivery with one invoice. So it's a convenient way for people to get access to multiple different sort of small, medium-sized farms products and have that delivered in a sort of an efficient manner for the farms as well as for the person who might be receiving it. So particularly it works well for institutions and restaurants and larger buyers.
Dennis Ward, TBT News.
Personal support workers have a new and improved contract in hand following a 2-week-long strike last month. 4,500 caregivers, including 21 here in Thunder Bay, have been without a contract since April of last year. They walked off the job in December, a move that affected more than 100 local seniors and other clients. The union, SEIU Healthcare, and the Red Cross entered into arbitration on Christmas Eve. The arbitrator issued a new contract for the PSWs on Wednesday. The 3-year deal includes a wage increase of 22 cents an hour for most senior workers. That's double the offer that was rejected last November. PSWs returned to work on December 27th while negotiations were underway.
A new partnership was signed at Lakehead University today that will further LU's commitment to addressing the challenge of sustainability. The university has signed a memorandum of understanding with Fulbright Canada to bring new faculty from across North America to teach sustainability courses. Lakehead's Vice President of Academics, Rod Hanley, emphasized the importance of putting local researchers in a position to collaborate with some of North America's leading scholars.
We wanted to take the next step, and one of the next logical steps for us is to have a Fulbright scholar coming in from the United States that would be interested in the issue of sustainability. We think that they would bring, as Dr. Stevenson said, they would bring a lot of new ideas for our campus, and I think attract a lot of attention from students and with their new approaches and new ideas. So it's something we're really excited about.
Fulbright research chairs will carry out programs of teaching, research, and services for a minimum of 1 semester.
Meanwhile, Lakehead University is making a real effort to cater its program to not just Canadian students, but to those from all over the world. Part of getting the students prepared for life in Thunder Bay and at Lakehead is giving them a well-rounded orientation. Phil Darlington has more.
If you've ever visited a different school, you know how intimidating it can be. Now, imagine that school is in a different country and the courses are in a different language. For international students at Lakehead University, their winter orientation took place today, and their perception so far was a good one.
Well, I find it worked out very well. Easy to find my way and get into the classes and courses, and it worked out well. A bit different from Sweden. It's a little bit smaller, but I think it's good and I enjoy it.
The orientation has been going on for many years, and it's through the experience of previous international students that the orientation meets the needs of the new students.
I came here and I was a part of the orientation. It really helped me to get to know the different departments on campus that could help me in different ways. As well as I made some new friends due to the orientation that helped me get to know the outside, the banking and the telephone services and whatnot.
The university offers many programs that it says are appealing to international students, and the orientation is just a small part of its overall goal.
For us, one of our goals at the university is diversity. So we're trying to diversify the student body, and having international students is a central part of that.
In his speech to the new students, President Brian Stevenson touched on getting new students acclimated to the university and to the climate. Of course, this could mean some difficulties, but for Soderstrom...
Probably they will come, but I haven't seen them yet.
Pretty good. The university usually sees more international students at the orientation event in September, but even with the recent weather and delays, around 60 students took advantage of this opportunity. Phil Darlington, TBT News.
Thunder Bay's Shelter House continues to work on bringing street soccer to its clients. The facility has been given a donation by the Ontario Sport and Recreation Community Fund to make soccer available to a whole new group of players. Street Soccer Canada is a program that gets the homeless involved with the sport to help gain empowerment and skills. The $28,000 donation will be used for everything from equipment and transportation to the rental of a soccer facility. Ken Miller with Shelter House is the one who got the ball rolling on the project, and he's excited to see not only the residents participate, but everyone else as well.
For the most part, it's great. They love the opportunity to get out and run and do stuff. and get those opportunities that lots of them never got, right?
It's about scoring, it's about somebody's touch, but it's always strength-based too, so that you're feeding off of people's strengths. So, maybe it was one thing they did that night. Great save, nice goal, great pass, great flick, right? It's one of those things, and then you keep drawing people back because they're captured by that piece of somebody's acknowledging a strength in them, right, for a change.
Now, there's no word yet on when the first games will be held, but Gregory says he'll be checking in with progress on that program. He's also hoping to see a team from Thunder Bay head out west for the Homeless World Cup tournament, which will be held in May.
A city artist is debuting his latest exhibition at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery this winter, titled War and Deception. Sam Sashabi is an assistant professor of visual arts at Lakehead University. The exhibit features layered paintings and modified oil drum machines. His presentation aims to make viewers question the consequences war has on the people who live across the world. Sashabi is hoping the audience leaves with a better understanding of what's happening in places like his hometown in Iran.
When you hear in the media every other week something's happening or a bomb is exploding, 50 people are dying, we are so far from this. And it's when you remove, it's very hard to really feel. And I want people visiting my show have find some connection to that.
The other new exhibit at the art gallery is a traveling show called Decolonize Me. It's been brought in from the Ottawa Art Gallery and will also be running in Thunder Bay until February 23rd. The two shows kick off the winter season at the art